Hello, hello, and welcome to today's workshop. We're going to be talking about stress management and how to control your stress throughout your experience here at West Virginia Northern Community College. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to have you shut your machine off and answer some questions and turn it back on and continue. So when I ask you to stop and answer the questions, just hit your stop button and answer the questions and then turn it back on and we'll continue. Alright, if you can see the screen here, today we're going to talk about stress management, and the definition of stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. That is our definition of stress. It's pretty intense. Again, state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from very adverse or demanding circumstances. We've all had stress in our lives. If we take the time to think about it, we could probably come up with reasons why we have stress. But in order to take care of stress, sometimes we just need to do some things like laugh. And if you look at this, it's kind of a funny little cartoon. The toothbrush is saying, sometimes I feel like I have the worst job in the world, and the toilet paper says, yeah, right. Think about that for a minute. A couple other little dumb jokes. I started a band called 999 Megabytes. We haven't gotten a gig yet. I know it's silly, but you're smiling. When you get a bladder infection, you're in trouble. I hope I don't get in trouble for that joke. What do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary? A thesaurus. All right, if you're not laughing, put your own jokes in there, make your own jokes, but there is a need and a time to laugh. What I want you to do now is take your time and take 10 minutes, shut the machine off, and answer these questions. What is bothering you the most today? Second, what has caused your stress over the past month? And third, what has caused your major stress over the past 1 year? Answer those 3 questions and come back on. Okay, welcome back. And as you'll see, I've got the first of the top 10 causes of stress. You can look at your list and compare them to the list here. The first top 10 cause of stress is childhood trauma. And all of these relate to what childhood trauma you could have possibly had. I won't read them all, but I will read a couple. Growing up in a household in which a parent or primary caregiver is an alcoholic, chronic abuser of narcotics, somebody in the family goes to prison, somebody has a diagnosable psychiatric condition such as major depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, growing up in a home where the mother is physically abused, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, losing a parent through death, divorce, separation, experiencing emotional neglect. So these are all just the number 1 cause of stress, childhood trauma. So if any of you have experienced any of this childhood trauma, you probably have some stressors related to that. So let's go to the next page of what causes the stressors. Okay, the second top 10 cause is the death of a loved one. So if we lost a grandparent, a parent, a sibling, a child, we understand exactly what we're talking about with death of a loved one. Divorce, financial problems, many of the problems that my wife and I have experienced throughout our married life has been because of the finances. Having a job, your health, personal relationships, the friends that you have. Chronic illness is a top 10 cause of stress. If you have a chronic issue, creates a lot of stress. And childhood pregnancy certainly can add to all of these. Financial problems, probably don't have a job, your personal relationships are probably in danger. So childhood pregnancy and then some kind of danger, we can talk about all of that. After discussing the causes of stress, I want you to list answers to the following questions for me. We're going to talk about stress symptoms. What is the first thing you notice when you experience stress? Write a few things down. Second, do you have other warning signs? What happens in your body? What goes on? Name a couple things that happen when you feel stressed. And number 3, how long have you experienced these warning signs? So let's talk about those stress symptoms. I want you to shut down for a minute, write the answer to those 3 questions, and then we'll come back. Okay, welcome back. I'm sure you've written your answers down by now. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the physical symptoms that are characterized by stress. When we're stressed out, some of the physical symptoms, we have a headache, we have pain in our whole body, back pain, neck pain, other discomfort somewhere else. Digestion issues can be caused by stress. We become sick at our stomach, nausea, vomiting, shaking, sweating, become dizzy, we get numb, and we tingle. If you've experienced any of these issues, we're having some serious stress problems. And we will talk about coping mechanisms and other ways to deal with stress here shortly. But just let's take a relook at some of your symptoms and compare them to some of these symptoms. When we're talking about stress, it can become physical, mental, emotional. We're talking about all kinds of stress. But especially here, these are the physical symptoms that we sometimes encounter. So if you've encountered any of these, what have you done about it? How have you dealt with some of these issues? Now, we can take medications for some of these things, right? But do we want to have to take medication for something that we can eliminate ourselves? We can eliminate some of these things, okay? So right now, let's talk about coping skills and what you can do. Before we get into the coping skills, let's talk about the emotional, behavioral, and cognitive symptoms that we've talked about, the stress symptoms still. All right? Sometimes we cry. You know, it gets to the point where we just can't figure it out, so we just sit in the corner and cry. We become very impatient. We can get angry and confused. We lose our memory. We can't figure things out. Irritable, emotionally drained, burned out, absolutely. You know, emotionally, we can be spent by the time we get through the first hour of the day if we can't figure out how to take care of these. Again, how do you cope with your symptoms? Now we'll talk about that. These are the symptomology, but how do you cope with it when you get these things? What do you do about it? And so what I'm going to ask you is to listen to these 3 questions, shut down and answer the questions, and then come back on again. How do you cope with stress? Here's the 3 questions. How do you handle stress? I want you to list at least 3 ways that you handle your stress. The second question is, how effective are your current coping habits? Have they helped you reduce your stress? Yes or no? If yes, how? If not, why are you still using it? And 3, do any of your current coping strategies include any of the following? Drinking too much, overeating, use of illicit drugs, or overspending? If you are using these coping strategies, you probably want to talk to a therapist because they're not good coping strategies. So write down your strategies, answer those questions, and then come on back to me here in a minute. Welcome back. I hope you've listed your coping skills. And we've listed some of ours. Hopefully you've got some intermingled with yours. Some of the things that we can do to reduce stress. These are very positive coping skills. We have listening to music. I enjoy listening to music a lot. That really takes me to another place, depending on the type of music and the type of mood that I'm in. There's a lot of different things we can do to help with the music. If you enjoy playing with animal pets, play with your pet. I had a golden retriever for a long time. It was my best friend. And Whenever I would feel down, that dog would know it, would come over and start wanting to play, so she would help me, get out of the mood that I was in. Sometimes, we need to laugh or cry. Sometimes a cry isn't negative, sometimes it can be very positive, just to get it out and tell somebody what you're feeling. Do something creative. Do something out of the ordinary. Give me a 500-piece puzzle, put it together. A lot of different activities you can do. Soak in a hot tub, well, that would be real nice, wouldn't it? Especially if it's cold outside. One of the greatest things to do is talk to somebody. Talk to a friend or a spouse if you can. And if you can't, find a good therapist to sit and chat with. It'll do you wonders. It doesn't mean you have to take medication, it just means you need to talk about the stressful situations you're in and get some useful coping mechanisms from them. Exercise is probably the best way to reduce stress. Walk, run, play a game of baseball, anything that you can do to get out of the house in the sunshine and move around a little bit, very, very helpful. We'll talk about some of these here in a minute, but practice deep breathing and relaxation. I'll give you some methods that we can try here in a little bit. Go out with a friend and just have some fun. Don't worry about what's going on, just kind of set it back and enjoy what's going on for the moment. Some people like to journal their feelings. So write it out, and then you can look back in a week and see if you've traveled farther away from what you need to do or closer to what you need to do. So again, positive coping skills. Some of these negative coping skills. Now, they're still coping mechanisms, but they're not as good as the other ones. When we critique ourselves, there's a time and a place for that. If we're falling behind in school, we can critique our study habits. We can critique our party hours and what we need to reduce some of that and increase our study time. So, in a sense, it's negative, but if you find something positive when you're critiquing yourself, that's an okay thing. Sometimes negative coping skills, we avoid the people we need to be around, our family and friends. Sometimes we become aggressive or violent, not a great coping mechanism. Sometimes we drive too fast in our car. We eat too much or too little. We start yelling at others. Isn't it easier to yell at somebody else than to take it in and try to figure out what's going on yourself? If we drink alcohol or misuse prescription meds, not a great coping skill. Procrastinating, we put it off until tomorrow, not a great idea. I had a wonderful friend when I started college. He told me one thing. He said, whenever your professor gives you homework or a paper to do, you start it that day. You don't wait until 3 days before it's due. You start it on the day that you're given the assignment. You start planning how you're going to get it done by the time that it's due. Some people do procrastinate, they do it the last minute, and sometimes they do okay, but that's probably creating more stress than assisting you in some way. Okay, on your blackboard, there is something called the Holmes-Rahe Life Stress Inventory. I don't have a picture of it up, but it's on there. What I want you to do is on the right side you'll see numbers. On the left side, you'll see events. Any of these events that have happened to you in the past year, I want you to circle the number on the right side. So if you had the death of a loved one or a spouse, you circle 100. And you go down the whole list and circle the ones that are pertinent to you, and then add up your score. When we come back, we'll talk about what the scores mean and what you need to do. Thank you. All right, welcome back. I hope you've all completed the Holmes-Rahe Life Stress Inventory. Let's talk about the numbers. If you had 150 or less on your Holmes-Rahe Life Stress Inventory, you're in pretty fair shape when it comes to stress. You're dealing with it probably in one of the better ways that you can. It does say that we still have stress, but it's just regular stressors that we deal with on a daily basis. We don't put them off, we take care of business, and then we move on. Anybody between, say, 150 and 200, you're getting into the levels of some issues. We have some mild to moderate stress. We should probably look at good ways to take care of the stress. If we're using negative coping skills, let's try to change them to some of the positive coping skills that we have. If we're between 200 and 250, we're getting into some serious ranges. If you're between 200 and 250, I would certainly tell you to look at your paperwork that you just did and see where your major stressors are and what you're doing about it. If you're unable to recognize it through that, you can get in touch with me. I am in the Academic Support Center. My phone number is 304-214-8938. You can contact me by phone or by email. My name is Kevin Serig, so K-Serig, S-E-R-I-G, at wvncc.edu. I welcome your questions, I welcome your comments, I welcome your phone calls, and I encourage you, if you're between 200 and 250, to stop in and talk to me, and let's try to figure some things out. For those of you that are over 250, really and truly need to take some time to figure out what's going on. I'm more than happy to talk with you. Again, you have my information. If you want a referral to talk to someone, I can give you a referral as well. But if you really need to take care of this stress if you're over 250. There's a lot going on in your life. Obviously, we haven't figured out a way to deal with it, or we wouldn't have such high numbers. So if you please talk to someone. All right. Thank you very much for that. Now, if you will look some of our stress management strategies, we'll talk about relaxation, guided imagery, deep breathing, meditation. Deep breathing is a simple thing that we can all do right now. Very, very simple. You just take a big deep breath in through your nose, as deep as you can, hold it for the count of 3, and then release it very, very slowly. And I'll give you an indicator. Here we go. Just do that 3 times. Big deep breath, hold it for a couple seconds, and release very slowly. I promise you, you will feel better for that minute. So again, deep breathing is a nice way to just, and I'll give you an example. If you're ever sitting in a room with 10 or 15 testers in it, watch what happens prior to the test. You'll see a lot of people taking in deep breaths. That's our body's way of telling us we're stressed, and let's start doing something about it. All right. Some other stress management strategies: physical activity. Now, prior to a test, you can't go jogging for an hour, but you can, you can move around, you can do some movement. But the physical activity that we're talking about here is walking, running, getting some really good exercise in a day's time. Avoid unnecessary stress. If going to your family's outings causes a lot of stress, then maybe you shouldn't go to the family outing. Or figure out a better way to enjoy the outing when you get there before you go. Alter the situation. If you're not going somewhere, or if you want to go somewhere, but there's somebody there that you don't want to, it causes you unnecessary stress or that you want to be around, don't be around them. Adapt to the stressor. That's kind of hard, but I'll give you an example. If I'm sitting in a room and somebody's chomping their gum and cracking the gum, crack, 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 I'm never going to adapt to that stressor. I will probably have to ask the person, please stop chomping your gum and snapping your gum. That's one way to alter the situation, that you can ask them. Adapt to the stressor, accept things you cannot change. There's a prayer about that. Wouldn't it be great if we could all accept the things we can't change? That would be all right. Make time for fun. Everybody has to have a little bit of fun. We can even work things out so that school can be fun. Yeah, absolutely can be fun. And adopt a healthy lifestyle. Eat well, exercise regularly, sleep well, study hard. Here's a rule of thumb for study. For every hour of school you're in here at West Virginia Northern, you should add 2 hours for each hour that you're here for study time. So example, if you're here for 12 credit hours, you should be studying at least 24 hours outside of the classroom. That's 36 hours a week you should be dedicated to your schoolwork. Sometimes it can be a little less than that. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more, but that's the average. And if you can make that part of your whole week, then things are going to be a lot easier here at school as well. All right. We've pretty much finished up this workshop. I want to give you my information again so that if you need to talk or you would like to talk more about stress or your mental health, my name is Kevin Serig, Kevinserig. My email address here at the college is kserig, Serig, @wvncc.edu. My phone number here at work is 304-214-8938. I would appreciate it now if you would just answer the following questions for me. There are 5 questions. The first question is, how would you rate your current stressors? 1 to 2 low, 3 to 4 mild, 5 to 6 medium, 7 to 8 high, 9 to 10 extreme. Number 2, did this workshop assist you in defining your current stressors, yes or no? Number 3, did this workshop assist you in learning better ways to reduce your stress, yes or no? Number 4, will you implement what you learned in this workshop to reduce your stress, yes or no? And finally, the 5th question, what is the most valuable information you received regarding stress through this workshop? I want to thank you for your participation in the workshop. Again, if you have any questions, you have my information. Thank you very much.